আমেরিকা বাংলা চ্যানেল, আমরা নিরপেক্ষ নই।
Hello, welcome to Bangladesh Weekly Roundup. I am your host SAQUIB Ali, and today is 16th April 2023, and we will be speaking about the events of last week. But last week, the things that have happened, for example, there was news of a big Japanese investment to come to Bangladesh for industrial area and port development. The aim is supposedly the Indian market. Then there was agreement between Bangladesh and Moscow to settle Rupur power plant expenses, the cost in yuan. I don't know how Bangladesh is going to get that yuan, because we have shortage of yuan because we have a trade deficit with China anyway. And another big event that happened was on 10th April, Secretary Blinken's meeting with the Foreign Minister moment. Now, we, as a matter of fact, we want to speak a bit in depth and issues of importance, even though the other news is important. But we thought that Bangladesh Foreign Ministers meeting is the most important. Regarding it, I have to say that we have a very limited information. One thing we can see is that it was only half an hour long. By half an hour long, it is a kind of a diplomatic snub, because after 50 years of diplomatic relations, if you have strong relationship, then the meeting should be much longer than that. I mean, I was in a meeting with our foreign secretary and the Chinese foreign secretary. I know it's a longer format, but it's called Foreign Secretary's Consultation, and I think it was 1.5 days long. 3 sessions, if I'm not mistaken. 2 sessions must be 2 sessions, maybe 3. So, given that this half an hour meeting says that our relationship is not very good. Okay, this is, statistics don't tell you the whole story. And that's why you can see that, yes, there are good numbers in our export investment, relatively speaking, because I have much greater hope for Bangladesh than this. I think we are capable of much better. But the substance is not there with this regime of Bangladesh. When Blinken was speaking about the meeting, he mentioned 4 things. He mentioned economic development of Bangladesh. He mentioned people-to-people contact, climate change cooperation, Rohingya cooperation. He also talked about COVID cooperation, or our foreign minister talked about the COVID cooperation. But you see, he didn't utter the word political. So the most important issue is political, and he omitted that. So that means we have political problems. He also, I really appreciated one thing from Secretary Blinken, which is he said in the readout that came out later that he wanted free, fair election, human rights, I'm sure. But another thing he mentioned, he added one word which I really, really appreciate. I think from the people of Bangladesh will appreciate Secretary Blinken for this. And this was inclusive economic development. The word inclusive. I always say that Bangladesh's development has been lopsided. It has been powered by the remittance funds and the export funds. However, it has been squandered, and I say that. Anyway, I think that whatever is going to happen, I cannot tell you what is going to happen tomorrow or next month, but United States has expressed its deep displeasure with this meeting, and I think we will know more about it. I think what is the position right now is that United States has made it very clear to Bangladesh government that it does not believe Bangladesh government, and it is asking for a believable plan. I do not think Bangladesh will provide a believable plan, and they should know that. And why, I will tell you later, just a few minutes later. And when they don't get a believable plan, a good faith plan, what will America do? I don't know. So why wouldn't Bangladesh give any good faith plan? In this, I am going to, today's main topic actually is I want to make it simple. I want to make a comparison or simile about two persons. These two persons are most important or very important in our two countries, Bangladesh and United States. By a quirk of history's fate, or maybe this is how history proceeds, these two persons were very important in these in their countries, and we will see the similarities among them. Now, I must say that I don't like to talk about persons. I don't like to make things personal, and I'm not. I hate to make things personal. I don't actually. But then I have to speak about these two persons because of the positions they hold, and because of the effect they have over their population, over their people. We are going to do this with great compassion. We're not going to disrespect these persons, but I am going to try to explain the reality of the actions of these persons so that we can recognize this and we can prepare ourselves and we can do what we need to do. So these two persons are, if you have guessed already, if you haven't guessed already, is Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh and Donald Trump of United States. Before I go on, I just wanted to say that those who have respect for Western civilization, they and and if they know about America, many of them might think that the greatest enemy of American enlightenment was Mr. Rupert Murdoch and perhaps Mr. Rush Limbaugh, and then perhaps Mr. Newt Gingrich. And the hateful environment they created, that created the perfect ground for Donald Trump to come up. It is kind of, for 50 years, Awami League has developed an environment of hate, and I'm not saying that others didn't take it up, they did too. But as they have taken up hate, this, as a matter of fact, allows this kind of totalitarian rule to take over, where all others become subjects, dehumanized subjects. Because I think if you have that compassion for your fellow man and fellow sister, then you can't do this. Now, regarding Hasina and Trump, it's not a whole list. I'm just saying, you can, take it or leave it. First is, they have to win. In Sheikh Hasina's case, she has to be in power. In Donald Trump's case, he has to be in power. So, at any price, any cost, it doesn't matter how they do it, but they have to be there. They have to be in a position where they can dominate others. And why is that? Why do you want to dominate somebody else? I think it shows a lack of inner substance, inner peace. It shows that they are not happy with their own self. They are not comfortable in their own skin. They can't just read a book or look at the, sunset and be happy. Or, look at their dear one and be happy. Do simple things and be happy. They can't. And that's why they need this kind of a drug of power. And you will see that in order to stay in power, they will do anything. And you will see, Donald Trump has denied election in America. And not only he denied that he lost, as Sheikh Hasina does every time, and he did all those things. And thank God for all those, election officials in United States and the courts that stopped him. And as they say that how many times America will be able to take this kind of hit is hard to say. If it becomes, stronger and stronger, and hopefully it will become weaker, and this thing. Then you will see that they have this tendency to, again, for lack of substance, they go for slogans and shows, pomp, shows. In Donald Trump's case, MAGA, Make America Great Again, and then I think the next one was Make America Greater Again or something like that. So it was just not much of. In Bangladesh, what they have done, she had done called Digital Bangladesh. This was her slogan. Now, yes, in the Bangladesh we can use social media now. We can buy many things, buy online, but that's private sector. In Bangladesh, we cannot do, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we cannot do any government job online, excepting maybe submitting the tax, income tax. Otherwise, we can't. We don't have any. So what is the use of that digital Bangladesh? It's a slogan. What they have is that they can have all the information of the people who go to for services, and they have digitized that so that they can surveil the people. Not that they were going to give, you better and better service. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure that there are efforts, but this is not the major effort. The major effort is surveillance. Now they are talking about smart Bangladesh. Smart Bangladesh is just another word for surveillance of Bangladesh. They want to surveil you. Smart means, you will use a card, so that whatever I use a card, so wherever I use the card, they know I'm there. So they can track me. So they can track me even if I get on the metro rail. Why? In subway, in America, in subway, you don't need to show any NID or anything. You just buy some tokens and, drop the tokens, you are in. Why? Why do I have to show my ID? Anyway, then I think that's not anyway. That's a very serious stuff. And you will see this sloganier thing. They have another thing is, to them, people are actually statistics. I was observing this speech Sheikh Hasina gave, I think, on 9th of April. I was reading about it, and she's saying, she's rattling off some statistics. From 40%, the poverty has gone down to 10%, blah, blah, blah. But people's lives are not statistics. Every day that people die on the street in the accidents, their families go, they're destroyed. We don't know those stories. I mean, I can tell you that I see many people who make a lot of money, but they're very unhappy. So what does the statistics say? Statistics doesn't say anything. When somebody uses statistics, that means to that person, human beings are statistics. Human beings are subject for propaganda. Because human touch is different. Human touch, one person's sadness, one person's sorrow. Say, for example, right now, Jasmine Sultana's son. I mean, so many. What is going to happen to him? How is going to affect his life? And then his family's life. So we don't care about that. Then you will see they are very entitled and brazen. Bullies, very good at picking accomplices. But these accomplices usually flip, when, they are in an adverse position. Usually. Very selfish. The only way they measure their preference, they prefer one action over another, is from selfish action, from selfish interest, I think. So, if anybody goes and works for them, they will exact a pound of flesh, their pound of flesh. But, the greatest damage these kind of persons do is that they corrupt people. They show that expediency is the way, that immorality is the way, and that way, loyalty over competence, sly, slimy, over self-respecting. I mean, I really don't want to say these things, but I mean, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I'm talking about these tendencies, these attributes, these characteristics. And I think there is a deep, deep lack, deep absence of spirituality here. Because if you can dehumanize others, I think that is the highest form of lack of spirituality. And the final thing I want to say is that I have deep, as a matter of fact, compassion and love for them, because these kind of persons, as far as I know, were deeply hurt in their childhood. Regarding Donald Trump, we know. Regarding Sheikh Hasina, we don't know much. But I think lack of attention in childhood, lack of love, that can create this kind of behaviors. You know, some of these behaviors are psychopathies, malignant narcissism. And it has been said that modern politics, modern business attracts this kind of leadership, psychopathy and malignantly narcissistic, because we are so greedy, we are so immoral, so expediency driven, money driven, outcome driven. We want everything for our happiness, but we want to purchase things for our happiness. This is where we are. So I hope we both, I just wanted to say this again with deep love for these two persons, because you know they didn't have a good life, as far as I'm concerned. They had a hard life, hard psychological life, a lot of suffering. And that suffering is, you know, meted out to others. So, as a matter of fact, my last point is that be nice to your child. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next week.